seeing it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we beat a really, really good team, very well coached team. I thought the crowd was a huge part. It's fun to see early kind of in our first year at Ole Miss, kind of that, play it that well in front of that kind of crowd and good players and a good fan base right there tonight was a big part of it. You know, the biggest thing I was proud of is that we just kind of responded to all their runs. That's what good teams do. We kind of got sideways a little bit. It went to 3 or 4. We kept making plays offensively. One of my assistant coaches, Ronnie Hamilton, really suggested let's go to 2-3 zone when the game was about 5. I thought that was a turning point. It was a great suggestion. Our guys really played out of 2-3 zone, and they contested shots, went back and rebounded it. It's really the second game in a row we did it at Vanderbilt, but just really, really happy for our players and beat an awful good team tonight.
I think they actually got within 2.
Was it?
You guys seem to kind of maintain your composure through that. Was that something you kind of waited to see how your team would respond in a situation like that?
Yeah, in that kind of game, you know, against a top 10 team, you know, and we executed a kind of a backdoor play to TD. Don made a great pass. He dunked it. We executed late. You know, we had some offensive things. We really did, and I thought that was a key to it. Then obviously, you know, we're a good free throw shooting team. We usually kind of close games out like that, but really it was defending. We held Auburn to, I guess it was 32% in the second half, and that was really the key to the game. And the biggest stat for us was just the rebounding. I mean, they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. They got us late, but we 45 to 37, so +8 is terrific for us.
You came out of the gate really looking focused and intense. Did you think y'all might have to kind of feel your way out in this game, or are you surprised at how well y'all started?
You know, I knew our team was ready to play. I knew we were ready to play, and we had great energy in practice the last couple of days, so it didn't surprise me. You never know about what the score may be, but I knew our energy level would be good, and Auburn had been off for a little bit, you know, but I knew they were probably chomping at the bit to play, and I just thought it was a real physical game early, and the way we ended the first half was really good.
It looked like they were keying on Brian particularly early pretty hard. What were they kind of throwing at him to kind of stay on him, and do you think that opened up things for Terrence?
Yeah, Brian tried to get 31 in the first half. That's what he tried to do, and that's why he struggled. He shot a lot of first side dribble balls, and I mean, Auburn's got some of the best defensive guards in college basketball, but against a good defensive team, if you're just going to dribble to shoot it on the first side, you got no chance against that kind of team, and that's what he tried to do, and that's why he went 1 for 10, and you know, so hopefully it's a great learning lesson. You know, the ball's got to move, and then it's got to get side to side, but to be able to absorb 1 for 10 from Brian and be one of the top teams in college basketball, that says a lot for the other guys on our team.
We talked about Terrence's defense earlier in the week, and it looked like he was really dialed in today. Is that as good as you've seen him play on that end?
It was. He made a couple of mistakes where he kind of got out of his stance. But I tell you one thing, it doesn't take long to make a mistake on those guards. I mean, they can pull the trigger deep. I mean, some of them it was just like, wow, that's a heck of a shot right there. And but he did. You know, the biggest thing, if you get a guard that gets 12 rebounds, you know he's going to play great. You know, so just 12 rebounds lead to 27 points, and just guys who rebound the ball, I don't care what position you are, you're going to make shots, and that's what he did tonight.
I know, Kermit, you've got several players that can score and kind of lead your team, but Terrence, just because of physically how good of an athlete he is he kind of special in what he can do against high-level teams like this?
Yeah, he can, you know, and he's done this his career. You know, he's had big games, and, you know, so TD, I just think when you come to our gym, he and Brian and Dom are the first 3, and Blake every day. Just extra shots, how they play, how he approaches practice, how he's willingness to be coached, you know, and so it was just great for us to see him emerge on a national stage like that. But yeah, high talent level, and boy, he finished some athletic balls at the rim tonight.
What allowed KJ to have the success that he did, especially starting a little slow, and then he just is dynamic there?
Yeah, you know, KJ is just, he's tough. No moment's too big. You know, these guys, they get in these games and these AAU games and high-level high school games. I mean, they just played against everybody. They've played against those guys, you know, 2 or 3 years. And his toughness to rebound the ball and go back and finish plays. I mean, and he's going to eventually be a really good shooter from 3. But I was really proud of his toughness throughout tonight.
You mentioned the 2-3 zone. That's kind of the second game in a row it's really taken y'all home. Is there anything to that? I mean, are they more comfortable in it?
You know, I just sometimes it hits teams right. You know, they were just so good downhill. And we thought we were prepared 2-3 zone, 2 or 3 things that they do that we matched up with some cutters. We thought that would help, and it did. The biggest thing against Auburn, can you rebound out of it? And that's what we did for the most part late.
It seemed for a while it was almost like it was hard to keep Dom on the floor, and now he's almost indispensable at times. What's changed with him?
It's just, it's, again, Levi Watkins, they're there 35, 40 minutes early every day, just putting work in. And, he's just gotten confident. He just has had some success. Because I'm telling you, that's an athletic team right there. So if you can do it against that team, you can do that against any team in college basketball. It's just his approach, his willingness to want, again, be coached. And, Bruce, we couldn't keep Bruce in the game because Bruce couldn't go get rebounds. We wanted Bruce's shooting in there because we thought we could pop him in his places he could get shots. But every time he came in, a guy came over the top of him. So that's why Dom was just so good tonight for us.
It's one game, and there's so much more to play. But from being down in Canada to hearing about last in the SEC preseason, just get this moment, was it a pretty special thing for the guys in the locker room and stuff like that?
It was. It was. Not too much, but it just was. It was special for me to see the fan base and that come together this early. There's no students here, and the student section is full. So we all know, y'all know a lot more than I do because you've been around it here more than I have. But the Ole Miss spirit is fabulous, man. So if you give them something they want to see, they'll come out. And that's what made this win, I think, really special for all of us tonight.
That atmosphere, is that kind of what you've been campaigning for months?
No doubt, no question. Or the students were here early and trying to get the best seats, and that's just what high-level college basketball is all about. Hopefully we'll have some Rebel fans travel to Starkville on Saturday, and watch that game. That'll be it's the beauty of this league. You just bounce back and go next. But what a wonderful start for our guys.
Along those lines, the fact that you've got more big games coming, were you kind of pleased that the kids didn't act like they won the NBA Finals just then? It was just sort of a normal deal?
No doubt. The Vanderbilt game, to get that first road win, because they'd had struggles on the road, I guess that was probably more than even this. But they're going to enjoy it. But I just thought that our team handled it in a good, mature way against a team is so good, and you're going to see those guys, maybe once, maybe twice more this year.
How surprised are you to be 12-2 and 2-0?
Yeah, I say this all the time, Rick. I mean, I know these guys locally hear me say it. I mean, we went to Canada, and I'm telling you, the last game in Canada, we were down 44-17 in the second quarter. We gave up 44 points about the first 16 minutes of the game. And to see our team, we ended up winning the game, but it was ugly as any game you've ever seen. But to have that team to make that kind of progress from that game to now, it's a credit to those guys. I mean, because they have totally bought in. In the summer, we coached a lot of effort. We coached attitude. And so now we're not coaching as much effort, coaching zero attitude. Those guys just buy in and play. And we got some talented guys in the locker room. And so when they do that, then you're capable of doing great things.
What's it going to be like for you Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be different. I think my brother and I probably made the first shot that's ever made in Humphrey Coliseum. Dad was the coach when it was built. I hadn't been back there in a long time. Maybe the last time I was at LSU. So I hadn't been back in a long time. A lot of pals that'll be there. But I said it in my press conference, and I'll say it again. Nobody in Humphrey Coliseum will want to beat Mississippi State more than Kermit Davis. I promise you that. That'll happen.
More questions? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.